What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Ground Force Gaming. Nova here with another Street Fighter Duel video, and today we are covering the new Fighter Trial Realm for Chief Viper. The Trendy Guile event just ended. HWA is going on right now, and we just got a brand new fighter released into the game. I'm excited to see this new Viper variant because the original Sea Viper that came with the beginning of this game has been one of the best fighters to date. So I was very excited to see what they were going to do with the variant for her, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly what's going on with her skill set because I've only read it once. I'm not like super clear on what she's doing, so I don't really want to like dive too deep into her skill set or explain what she's doing because I really just don't know. But she's doing a lot of damage, and she's doing very well in this PvE style play. So sometimes these trials are a lot more difficult than other times because the fighter that's released for it just isn't good in this type of game mode. They're not meant for PvE. They're meant for boss fights, or they're meant for, you know, who knows, whatever, something else. They're meant for just like a support thing, and then you're stuck using them, and then you miss out on tanks, you miss out on damage dealers because you can't, you know, pick whoever you want to use. But she's doing extremely well, and I do feel like when we do these trials and you have a fighter that performs very well, I think that really is just kind of an indicator that they're going to do well in all types of game modes that this game has to offer. So using her here, at first you can see I was like, I don't really want to use her because you never know how they're going to do it. I just want to beat this, and I want to give you guys good teams and show you how to do this quickly. So doing a lot of trial and error with a new fighter sometimes is just not worth my time. It's not worth your time watching it either, because then I'm using weird teams. So I went with just the classic, you know, Viper BZ combo here, which always works. But she does extremely well. She's got really good AoE. Her C3 is very powerful. I don't think I really used her C2 that much in the trials. You might see me use it every now and again, but her C3 has like an explosion that comes up from the ground, and then she like shoots something out as well, and it does a lot of AoE damage. It's a pretty powerful nuke, to be honest. And she's doing some like self buffing as well that allows her to manipulate the speed combo gauge, where when she has like her overdrive state, I think it's called, when she unleashes her super, it doesn't take up the speed gauge. So this is another thing that we're starting to see a lot more in this game, is speed manipulation, whether that be increasing speed during a fight or it be not using the combo gauge. We saw that with Cami Vega. We see that with their X move. We see that with her right now, just doing that on her super, but she's still dealing damage. She's still triggering that combo chain. When you do it with the X move, or the EX move from Cami Vega, the following combos, so C1, C2, and C3, only deal 1 damage. So, or like 99% of their damage is like ignored or whatever. So it's not 1 damage, but we don't see that here. You're still dealing that damage afterwards. So that's really interesting. And I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to see with boss fights coming up, because speed manipulation against bosses not using combo gauges, like that's a really big deal. Because if you watch leaderboards and you watch some of like the whales play and stuff, you'll notice, not all of them, but some of them, they don't use their combos until like 69 seconds in, or 61 seconds in, or 53 seconds in. And that's just because the way that the boss fights work is you're building up the ability to just rattle off your combo chain. So if you get interrupted, you get stunned, you get whatever, you don't run the risk of losing that, because you got to wait for the combo gauge to build back up, because you just were running it from the start, unless you just immediately kick right back into it so that you don't lose any stacks, you don't lose anything that you have going on buffing wise. But now we have these situations with her and the EX move, and just Cami Vega in general with their super, is that we're just not using the combo gauge when she gets into overdrive. Like, how many times can that happen here in a fight with her now? So the thing is, like, you might not have to delay starting combo chains against boss fights so much if you're using her as your primary damage dealer, and it's your super for one of your team lineups. But I do just want to say I don't know how that's going to perform, right? This is just a thought. And don't copy that combo chain for that. I don't know why I had Dulcim running as C1. Use Elena C1, use Blanca C2 for that. That'll be better. But I just don't know, like, do I really need another damage dealer? I feel like I should just be considering the support fighters more in the tanks. Like, I just don't know if I really need to be pulling for just like a pure DPS unit like this. Like, yeah, she has some like functionality, you know, with the speed bar and stuff like that. That's really interesting and certainly has me curious. But at the same time, it's like I already have my DPS slotted. So like, who's she taking priority over? That's kind of where I'm unsure. Even with 4 teams, like I already feel pretty confident with where I have things right now, because I'm using Fireadon for 1, I'm using Oni for 1, I'm using Viper for 1, and then for my 4th team, I don't recall who I'm using as my primary damage dealer, but I definitely had one. I didn't have any issues in the Trendy Guile event getting good scores. I had 3. I think I was just using Fashion Blanca maybe. I mean, she would do better than Fashion Blanca though, so could be. I don't have Evil Ryu, so yeah, I guess maybe using her would be. Maybe I just talked myself into doing it, but I don't know. It's tough to say. I want to see her being used by people first. I want to see if the whales start pulling for her and see what kind of numbers she's putting up. And the real way to know is, honestly, I'm kind of in the position right now where I'm just saving Divination Tickets anyway. I should probably be working on Summer Elena, getting her to +2, but maybe I'll switch and go for this. But just giving you guys a quick little like look over her skills here. Like I said, I need to spend more time reading it. I need to spend more time working with her in the trial just to kind of see what she's capable of and see where she really shines. But I wish that we had the chance to test her against like some sort of boss thing. I wish they would integrate maybe a boss fight at the end of these trials, that you could try the new fighter like in a different style of play. But unfortunately, it's not the case. So I guess I'll just have to wait and see what the whale testing looks like, and see where she starts cropping up. But she's doing very well. She's holding up to the Viper name, that's for sure. Because Sea Viper is still one of the best DPS units in the game, for sure. Everyone's using her in everything. They're using an HWA. People are using her against boss fights and in the events. They're using her in just regular PvP and PvE as well. She's a very, very well-rounded fighter. So I think we'll see the same from this variant. I think people are going to probably prioritize her, especially if they have an easy time in the trial. But yeah, I mean, this was an easy trial. Like I said, she's very good. I think that you guys will have an easy time beating it, especially if you use the teams that I used here. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to just continue with Summer Elena until I get her to +2, and then I'll consider making the switch. But yeah. Anyways, guys, appreciate you watching. Hopefully this helps you beat it quickly, gets your rewards super fast. Stay tuned for more videos. Join our Discord. Link is in the description. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.